Hey, Scott. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Francois.
Hey,
What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. Feel like I haven't spoken to you in a long time.
I was off for 2 weeks. It
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're on vacation. How was your vacation?
was good. It was good. Except that France was on fire while I was there. Did you hear about what happened? The guy,
No.
the kid getting one kid got killed by the police and it set the
What?
country. Yeah. You guys didn't hear about that?
No.
Wow.
We have
Okay.
our own problems.
Yes.
The country has problems.
Hmm.
But France is rioting, right?
Huh?
Are they rioting?
What do you mean writing?
Rioting,
Like
yeah. Over in Paris and
rioting,
whatnot. Rioting.
Oh, writing.
rioting.
Yes. Well, that was the cause of it because so the problem is that everything was on social media, right? So everyone saw what happened, and the cop didn't really have the right to shoot. So he wasn't really in his right, and everyone saw it. So people started to kind of protest. But the
Yeah.
problem is, by protesting, people kind of, you know, set everything on fire and
That's the best thing to do.
yeah, and then
Agree with
France really
somebody to
knows.
set stuff on fire.
Yeah.
and then yeah, and they were stealing from shops, and it's I agree that they needed to protest, but not in that fashion, in my opinion.
That's
But
typically how the US riots. They will protest in that way. They have real protesters, but
Mhm.
then there are other protesters who come and just
There's people
steal
who just believe in chaos and all they want to do is create more chaos. And so they come in and
Yeah.
smash everything up and let everybody else take blame for it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
like God said, yeah, that's the best thing to do. Burn everything. That will resolve it.
I mean,
That will resolve it. That will resolve it.
I didn't like my McDonald's food, so I went and burned it down.
There's certain things that, like maybe cars, just not your car, like not your
Right.
friends.
Yeah, and my brother, he's like a fireman, but on the side. You can do that in France. You can be fireman on the side. So they call you
Yeah.
whenever they need help, and he was on call pretty much every night because the regular crew needed help, just in case, right? Nothing really happened where he lives, but yeah,
All right. Well,
they cooled down. It's better now, I think.
yeah, that's good. Here our normal protest is just kind of crowding in the streets, but not usually that to that extent where we're burning things. we don't know how to protest. Let's just say that. Like in
Not the
Europe,
No.
in Europe, you guys know how to protest. Like it's
Well, apparently France has been taking the American version of protesting here as of late.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be way better than this because French people, they go on strike for everything, and anything.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, that was like a easy excuse to not to go to school. Oh, I went
That's
strike.
right.
Where were you yesterday? I was striking. What do you mean? And the prof were like, okay.
But Francois, you're Canadian now, so now you're polite and very calm.
You know what? When I
doing
moved to
anything.
Canada first year, they had a huge. They were raising the tuition prices for universities, and students were not agreeing with that. And they went in the streets with like pots and wooden spoons, and they were making it. I was like, "What are you guys doing?"
That sounds like
If,
fun.
if the protest path wasn't agreed by the police, they wouldn't just not protest. In France, they don't care. Like if it's agreed or not, they just go and protest, right?
They have to
So-
get permission, and they get
Yeah.
and they warn everybody ahead of time. Don't go down the street because it's going to be blocked because the protest is
Yeah.
today.
And everyone respect the rules. And when the government says, "Okay, we're gonna do it that way anyway," they're like, "Okay." So there's not much pushback, right? So it's a different way of doing things, different culture, I guess.
So what do we got going on today?
Huh?
I wanted to get everyone's thoughts on Ekahau raising their prices.
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
easy because I don't use Ekahau, so it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
I got
Okay.
one thing, one word, Hamina. We need that. Oh, can't wait for
I got
their-
one of these, and I got my Hamina.
Is that G2?
That's my G2, yeah.
I got one too. I need to
No,
fire it up and to see what it can do.
I have mine too.
use
but
It's
I don't use
good.
it
For troubleshooting. It's great for when I'm running around just a regular industrial site, and I'm just looking for clues, but I don't want to drag my laptop with me, and I just need
Yeah.
clues on different issues and stuff, because I can cycle through everything really quick, and the battery lasts most of the day. So
Yeah,
Yeah, I primarily use it for troubleshooting, but not
Yep.
so much on Sundays.
and then even the ability, even though it's the G2 and not the full what's the other version,
G3.
not the G3 but the full network version,
The ether scope.
the Etherscope. It's not
That's
the
what
full
I had.
Etherscope. Yeah, see,
The
It's
Swiss
not
the
Army
ether
knife of
scope.
everything.
but you still have an Ethernet port, and you can test switch ports.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but do
Yeah,
you
but
have a
those-
fiber port you can test with?
mine's just the old school G2. I don't have all the newfangled stuff.
I gotta see what do I have.
Give it a couple of months.
but
And
I
you
love
will
it.
be
I love
walking
my
around
G2.
with silos instead.
Yeah, I think that's why they're raising their prices. I think it's gonna get crowded a little bit, right? We've got multiple different survey companies now, even some that have been around longer than Hamina and Cytos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I use Air Magnet, for my surveys, and I'm pretty much
People that use it.
switched over to Hamina for my predictive now. So
I got a G2, so I guess my Ethernet port is on the side right there.
Yep.
Yours is on the bottom?
no, it's on the
This
side.
is the G3, which doesn't have any Ethernet ports.
Oh, the G3 doesn't have an Ethernet port.
I did
Oh.
not know that about the G3.
I didn't either.
Hey guys,
you
sorry,
need
I'm
a
late.
USB. You need a USB dongle.
Yeah, you can
Ah.
use a dongle.
You guys
they-
just wanted to say the word dongle.
They
And we
did that
don't
to
use the D
conserve
word around
battery
here.
life.
I'm interesting to see how Amina is going to integrate with all of these tools to do the survey piece.
Yeah,
I'm
As
really
soon
interested
as
as
they
well.
can do surveying, it will be easier to justify for the pricing.
I wanted to test out their auditorium and stadium thing and the race floor and all that. But I logged in, I was looking through it, I'm like, oh crap, you gotta upgrade and pay for the full, I guess the next version to get that feature in. I mean, I can do 3D views, so I was doing I was looking at the auditorium, and it's pretty cool. You can do a 3D view of auditorium, but to kind of get that exact feeling that you're in a stadium or auditorium, you have to get to the next version. So I think I'm gonna have to pay for it to get that. But it is pretty cool from what I have seen.
I haven't even checked it out yet. I could try it because I did do a smaller classroom, but it is slightly raised, and I only did it flat. All I did was change the height of the APs.
Okay. Yeah, I
that'd
mean,
be
it will
interesting
make you
to
look
try
like
that.
you're in a stadium, like when you do a 3D view,
Yeah.
all that. It's interesting.
And for our campus, we standardize on Ekahau, but I did use Hamina for one project, and that's how I won over the architects, because I showed them what it would look like if I put the APs and antennas the way they wanted to, and I used a little person, and I was like, look, he's not changing APs, he's stuck on that one.
That interactive reporting is a game changer.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the fact that I don't have to figure out how to send a 200-page report, right?
Right.
Like it's like, here's a link.
Yeah, I
Well, I
just
still
sent
do
a
reports anyway,
600-page
but it makes the whole handoff meeting a lot more interesting, because as you're going over everything, it's not just a dry run through of a PDF document.
Yeah.
You're actually able to get them, say, all right, you guys hit this link and pull this up, check
Yeah.
this out. Hit that 3D view so you can kind of and play with it, try, so you can really see what's going on. And that has successfully gotten me more work. So
So, I mean, something really cool, right, with the 3D view. I had a customer and we were doing actually some planning for coverage that it needed at like 11 feet, right? And I sent it and it kind of showed obviously a bunch of red and yellow and all that, right? And he's like, well, you know, I don't think it's just covering that area and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, you know what? Sorry, let me show it to you. So did a 3D view, you raise the client and it kind of shows the signal kind of changing and going up, right? At that whatever height you specify. So that was pretty cool. Customer actually ended up buying a license of and after seeing all that. So now they're, you know, doing all their own predictives.
Mhm.
we went from Ekahau to Hamina.
Well, I'm trying
never
to
looked
think
at
about how Ekahau
Sorry,
is
go
trying to play this because Ekahau raised their prices, but everyone else is much lower. So
Mhm.
are they gonna are they trying to strategize where they're just trying to squeeze as much profit out of this before they sell off Ekahau? Or are they just gonna look like the more expensive option? So therefore, when you compare different products, you're like, well, if this one's more expensive and this one's ridiculously cheap, the Ekahau one must be better.
I think that's what
of
they're going for, that whole premium
the
experience.
premium feel, right?
Mhm.
The
Um,
high-end surveys.
But
But
the
I
problem
think-
though is then they price themselves out of 2/3 of the engineers out there who just can't afford to go throw out that kind of money.
But look at it this way: if more and more engineers start using it and start talking about it and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, then people are gonna start realizing, oh, I mean, this is, you know, the good right product and all that.
well, here's the other side of that though, right? Are they targeting engineers? I don't think they are.
They're not. I don't think they are either. I think they
They're
shifted. They
targeting
want to target
decision
corporate.
makers. Yeah,
Oh,
so if they go
Ekahau?
more towards enterprise corporate, you've now created this. They're trying to work the big accounts and say like, hey, we can be your partner, and therefore that gets rolled out throughout the organization.
Yeah, they're doing the
and
Cisco
tell
model.
their engineers
so.
to use that. Hamina and all the rest, it's like individuals making that monetary decision of making that purchase.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I feel Ekahau is trying to make a play is, all right, we'll play the larger accounts and get more money that way rather than trying to get individual engineers.
Isn't it
agree.
almost close enough to Ivy Wave now, or is it still far away from Ivy Wave cost? I don't know. Y'all know how
I've
much?
never used IB Wave, so I don't even know what that interface is like.
IB Wave, the last time I tested it, I had a hard time getting used to it. Like it takes time to actually use IB Wave, but I think
Because
like
isn't cellular their kind of claim to fame?
yeah, cellular's their thing.
3D
but
also.
I think yeah, the 3D modeling, I think they were the first ones to do it besides like Hamina and Ekahau. They do a lot of advanced stuff. Like they've had reflections and stuff in their software long before Ekahau just added it. Like you can fine tune quite a bit. And so where I think IB Wave makes a play is for the other big organizations that do both cellular and Wi-Fi. And so you have your Comcasts and your AT&Ts where if you're going to deploy Wi-Fi and cellular, why not use a tool that'll do both?
Right.
And you can plan them all in the same project file, which I think Ekahau was trying to do with their private 5G or whatever they want to call it. But it's still kind of a separate tool. It's not, you don't design both in the single project.
Yeah, it's weird because spectrum analysis is kind of following suit with all these different. You've either got super expensive, or it's hard to find that kind of in between. But it's even more of a niche or niche market than wireless planning is.
It is, and in our campus, we're starting to have those conversations, but I don't think we have the right people. But there's a different team that is doing the cellular piece, but they tend to confuse private 5G and doing actual cellular calling. They think it's they always lump it the same, like, oh, we have cellular call issues and in the basement and the carrier doesn't want to come in. So we want to try to see if private 5G would be that help. And I'm like, I keep telling them like, that's not what private 5G is for. You know, like, but who am I? I don't know anything.
Private 5G penetrate your basement? No.
Well, they think it can be used just for cellular calls, as if like anyone who comes in there can make a cellular call. And so I had to say, well, how are you going to onboard some random person who comes onto the campus? How are you going to give them an eSIM?
Don't say that. They don't want to hear that.
Well, they don't
Yeah.
want to hear me questioning how their approach.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, I guess people think it's almost supposed to work just like Wi-Fi. Come in, connect, and just.
It's magic. It just works. It's magic.
Yeah.
You can't see it. You can't touch it. It's magic.
It's always magic.
Always magic.
You guys see the Aeronia tool where you can simulate like RF signals and stuff?
Which tool?
The Aeronia, it's called Aeronia, I think. Oh, AARONIA.
No.
You mean
Oh,
the
I've
German
never heard
spectrum
of it.
analyzer?
Yeah, Shetil used it in one of his funny videos.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and you can see like you can actually see the QAM signal in 3D.
Oh,
and
that's
also
cool.
the
Oh,
noise,
okay.
everything. Yeah, it's like very expensive though.
Yeah, I was looking at the prices like, whoa. I mean, I guess if you're, who wouldn't, I mean, how can you justify that cost?
That's what I'm saying.
How much is
It's
it?
all great and cool and all that, but like in order to justify costs like that, you must be doing some, I mean, hardcore spec end stuff, right? Like,
Right.
that's all you're doing. You're doing spec end and you're resolving issues at a very crucial level where, like, I don't know, maybe Scott Industrial, where some
Is that
spec-
that thing that Kedgel bought? I've seen on Twitter.
did he buy it? I think he's demoing it. I don't think he bought
Oh, it's the,
it. I mean,
oh,
it's
the
expensive. Yeah.
yeah, he had the curved screen and everything. It looks cool, but like, yeah, I don't think, I don't,
16K.
Hey, you know,
Yeah.
I have a hard time
it's
getting
like a
my
gadget. more
justify
towards-
$200 for one of these. So,
Yeah.
but this is cool. So I like my gadget.
But I just spent like thousands of dollars on my sidekick. Isn't that good enough?
Yeah.
I
That's- I
spent
think
$200
that's
for
good enough
sub
for
gigahertz
one.
spec an.
Mhm.
That thing is pretty cool. I had one client show me, they were using it saying, hey, we found interference. And I had to show them that they were using it wrong.
But you know, one thing they don't tell you is the unit's $200, but to actually do recordings, you gotta spend another $50.
But still
I mean,
not
it's
bad.
still,
But still,
yeah,
it's
it's
$250.
still,
Yeah.
still affordable compared to Sidekick.
But I'm a MetaGeek suite user anyway. I like their whole suite of tools and their big bundles, $500 a year. So you get Channelizer, IPA, and Tonic, and all the updates and everything, and support and everything for $500 a year. That's money well spent, because those are your tools you use every day, or at least I do anyway.
And do you guys ever think that there's too many tools, or is it kind of a difficult decision to pick which tool you use?
There's never enough tools.
Never enough.
Every tool does 90% of every other tool, but that 10%, you need from that one specific tool.
Like I have it's kind of like, I have, I don't know, 3-4 different kinds of like Phillips screwdriver, and
Right.
the 3-4 different kind of flatheads, and they're all flatheads, but I don't know, one might be like a little bit longer than the other that I might need, or a little shorter.
Got that little short stubby one that you never use except for when none of the others will fit in a space.
Yeah, it's
The one corner use case.
yeah.
And
And
I'm starting to do more and more dev stuff with the dev that I have, and I can tell you that in Wi-Fi we don't have tools. And in the dev world, it's incredible the amount of stuff they have, and it's,
Oh yeah.
like to choose the one you want. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna pick this one because I don't know, I like the marketing from it, and then try it out. They just have so many stuff available. It's
Right.
overwhelming. So Yeah, we don't have that many, but do we need more really for what we do?
Yeah,
No, I think what we have is pretty good. If you look
I think
at
it's
15
pretty
years
good.
back,
Well,
yeah.
I think that like kind of like our breadth of tools, while not as great as some other industries, a lot of them are very mature. So at least you're getting solid results out of them.
As long as you can rely on your tool, I think that's the most important for us. You
Yeah.
know, you don't want to go on site and redo the work. Like who likes that?
No,
How many-
I hate doing things twice.
How many Ekahau surveys have you had to redo a floor or the whole thing?
Dude, I was working in Dallas, Texas in the summer, and I was doing outdoor survey, right? Like football field and stuff like that, those areas. And it was 120 degrees with 130-degree heat index. And I was not connected to the internet, so it was not syncing and all that, I think. Or I remember it shut off my iPad and Sidekick and everything, and I lost 2.5 hours worth of survey. And I got so pissed because I was hot. I was literally my jeans. I mean, it was like all sweat, right? I just came inside. I'm like, I can't believe I gotta go out and spend another 2.5 hours to do
Oh
this.
man, I use a surface and air magnet, and I roll through, hot and humid all the time with it, and haven't had that issue
With air magnet.
with my Surface, because I run everything on a Microsoft Surface.
Oh, is it like an industrial grade or something like that, or really works with it? I mean, that hot, like with 130 degree, 120 degrees, like it rolls through.
You obviously have never been in a paper mill before.
No, I haven't. I mean, that's pretty impressive. If it can stand that heat and not shut off on you. I mean, I don't know if y'all been
It's a
through.
Surface Book Pro. I have my little antenna stick up on it, and I roll through, and tippity tappity, and in there for an hour or two. And where they make paper, it's heat and humidity, so you get out of there, you're drenched. Francois, you've been in a paper mill before, haven't you?
No.
And I know you've gone to some sites. I didn't know if you've been. Because pulp and
Yeah,
paper, they use a ton of water, and
yeah.
actually around the machines, they have one end is called the wet end, the other end is called the dry end. And the wet end, I mean, it's like 100% humidity, and it's all but raining in there.
Oh,
And it'll be 95, 100 degrees in there during the winter. So in the summertime, it's 120 plus.
now I've been in a steel mill. Now that gets hot also.
Yep. Yeah, metal processing is cool though.
Yeah, it's interesting and to see all that, how they grab all the scrap metal and put in things, and then it goes and it melts and get melting in those big huge bins.
Yeah, they smelt it all down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, the whole process.
But that's the fun stuff. But yeah, I haven't had any heat issues out of my Surface Book.
That's interesting. Yeah, iPad will start screaming like, oh, high temperature warning or something, and
I've had my phone shut down, but that hadn't. My little Android. It was like, it's too hot. I'm not working for you right now.
Well, anyways, I hate it when you have to redo the surveys. That's not fun. So
Yeah, redoing any of that stuff sucks.
yeah, we have a cell on all our iPads, so we don't have to like. If we have no Wi-Fi, I guess it does sync, but occasionally something screws up once in a while.
Well, what's worse is when you have to redo it because you screwed it up, and you're like,
Well, at least they have an undo button, right? You can go back now. Before you had to go on the computer and like undo it, and it was annoying. So
I guess Air Magnet's undo button doesn't go back far enough, and I've had to redo things a couple times because I realized I wasn't where I thought I was, and so things were looking funky.
or if someone else does the survey and then it comes back and you have to kind of either go back and do it yourself or have them go back again because it looks like they're walking through the walls.
Yeah, that's happened.
It's like, dude, are you Flash or something? Like, how did this happen?
It's fun walking through walls, right?
So many I have seen, and customers have okayed those surveys, and I'm like, this is all wrong. I mean, at this point, I would not trust a single thing in that survey because he could have just been standing only in one spot and putting dots or something. I don't know what this guy was doing like at this point, because he's got stuff all over through the place, going through the walls.
So what else we
So-
got on the agenda there, Roel?
Well, I was fighting
had a
with
second
Silona's
one.
UI.
Which one?
I was fighting with Silona's UI actually right before the call. Was having some.
Oh yeah, you're using Solana.
Yes, it's setting up my lab with Solana, and I had to move the AP, so you have to kind of like trigger the change the antenna patterns and re-sign with your CPI ID, re-sign, you know, the GPS coordinates and everything. And I was not seeing it in the UPS. I'm trying to talk to somebody last night about it. It's like, dude, it's right there. I'm like, it's not. Here's a screenshot. I'm like, it's not there. Right, the edit button. I sent a support ticket to them asking them, hey, is it, you know, not, can you not update this because I'm not seeing it? They're like, oh yeah, you can update it. I'm like, okay, but I'm not seeing it. They're like, well, you have to actually be a CPI. Duh, I'm the one who provisioned it initially. Obviously, I'm a CPI and I signed off on it. So like, but then they did something because all of a sudden a button appeared that says change parameters or something like that. I'm like, I swear to God, this was not there last night. And here's the proof. The UI is like, I'm not really just struggling with it a little bit.
How do you like their product overall?
It's good. I mean, I have actually gotten it in a big deployment of it, like in a oil and gas to cover
Okay.
huge. I mean, you know, for example, it came in as a wireless opportunity, and like, well, yeah, no, I'm not covering 75 acres with trying to cover 75 acres with Wi-Fi, right? I mean, you got to realize, I mean, and Scott, you probably would know the pains, right? If you've done oil and gas, just to run electrical power to every single AP and fiber to it. I mean, it's huge cost, right? And if you're putting 15, 20 APs in just a little area, I mean, I'm like, dude, have you bought the clients yet? And the guy's like, no. I'm like, hold off on that. Let me talk to you about a technology. Started talking CBRS. It was available right away. They were ready to do the proof of concept. I mean, 10 APs covered the whole area. And
That's cool.
I made them buy iPads with that support band 48. So that was, you know, that's pretty cool.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it does fit, and it's not gonna fit every single need, right? But it does fit certain needs.
Yeah, because what I was trying to figure out is also pushing it for our campus for there's a lot of security cameras that they're trying to roll out in areas where we don't have infrastructure, and I don't want to use Wi-Fi. They made us do a proof of concept using the Cisco outdoor APs as a bridge.
Okay.
And they complain every once in a while about the quality of the video. I'm like, 80 megahertz wide channel, bro, with Wi-Fi all around us. That's what Wi-Fi is.
That's what they did their bridge at 80 megahertz.
Yeah, because they have like HD cameras, so we needed to higher throughput.
So are there CBRS cameras out there, or are you using some sort of like bridge?
I know
There
I know one company that has CBRS cameras. I don't know if they would be good enough for the resolution that you need, OL though. It's
but
Horizon.
I think they use a specific vendor, so I'm thinking
Oh, so just
okay.
it has
backhaul
to
through
be
CBRS. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's just a backhaul, and we would put they either connect their camera directly to whatever that AP is, or we put a dumb switch out there.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can do some slicing and all that kind of stuff, right? And QoS stuff like on it that can help obviously with the video quality and everything. Well, one of the things that you have to kind of worry about obviously is, and depending on your location, if you even have spectrum available, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things, especially if you're on the coastline, that's where you may not have a lot of spectrum available. Like
Okay.
I mean, I'm in Georgia, right near Atlanta. So I mean, I got full spectrum available to me where I am. But I mean, I don't know if I don't know, maybe in Miami or Fort Lauderdale or some of the like coastal areas. I don't know what will. I'm curious what will show up there.
How do you check that?
So SAS will tell you that. So once you go in there, it will kind of tell you how much you have available.
Inside the UI,
Yeah.
based
Uh,
on the address?
based on the address and GPS coordinates. So let's see.
Oh, so you have to go, right? Hence.
Yeah, because it communicates with the SAS and then it tells you SAS knows that information, right? And it tells you, okay, well, you got this much available, because then the AP needs to communicate with the SAS and it can only use those channels that the SAS tells it that it can use. And
Can you-
also
can
tells
you
it
try-
that, sorry?
Can you try with an address in Canada and see what happens?
I don't have access to this. Well, let's see. I'm gonna have, if it'll let me change the GPS coordinates. So yeah, I don't have access to SAS. Like I use the UI. It's the Solana guys who have access to the SAS. But I think there's a free Solana planner. Solana planner that tells you how much you have available. So planner.solana.io will tell you, let me paste in a link, what spectrum you have available. Yeah, right there.
Okay, let me try that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not a full SAS access, but it kind of gives you an idea of what you got available.
And you took that certification, right?
The CPI one, yeah.
Did you take it through Google?
Yes, that was a nightmare. Not that it was difficult. It was not difficult. I mean, it's great. I mean, I highly recommend taking it. It's really not that difficult and some really excellent information. And I love the when they start talking about like how it goes and register with the SAS. That part is very cool, because how you're talking about the packets that are going to SAS and coming back and the whole registration process. It's really interesting. But Google lost my test, and they said you failed the test. I'm like, I'm looking at it and it says I'm passed and saying, congratulations, you passed, you're a CPI, here's my number. They would refuse to give me my number. I had to fight it for a month before I finally, oh, we found it all of a sudden.
They Googled it.
There you go.
Yeah, ask them to Google. So I'm guessing they do that all via hand and paper. Like, how do they lose something?
They were selling it on the dark web.
Well, which is what I don't understand. Like, how can you possibly use it? It's right there in your system. I mean, here's the email that proves. I mean, I forwarded them the email. I sent them the certificate that, after you pass the test, that the sites Coursera sends you. But apparently it was only one guy that was responding back to the email. So I don't know if he was overwhelmed or just even if he knew what he was doing. Then somebody else got involved who apparently found it eventually. Oh no, you're fine. You're good to go. You'll get your number and your peak, the certificate. Yeah, it was just weird. So I don't know, maybe I was like telling somebody else was asking me about it. I'm like, maybe you want to try a CommScope's version instead of going with Google if they're gonna, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Next time I'm gonna have to renew it, I'll go with CommScope maybe.
Is it a yearly or 3, 4?
3 years.
Okay. And you think it's been pretty beneficial to have it because you're the one doing the Solana installs, right?
Yeah, I mean it helps because I'm there, so like I can so for granted, we had a customer came and they needed somebody to just kind of oversee some Solana stuff and everything that they bought, and they're gonna do all the work, but they need somebody who's certified, right? So my company can then kind of bill me out, right? Basically.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, not necessarily. I might just stand there literally and do nothing or touch nothing, right? Because they're gonna do everything themselves. But I just gotta say, okay, load my certificate and sign off on it. And
Yeah, because I'm thinking about doing
distracted as I am by Francois's mugshot down there. I mean, sorry.
Everyone always is, captivated by Francois.
I love his office and the colors that he's got in his office.
Yeah, his how he painted the wall, and
Yeah. I always love it. It's always, yeah. Like I want to.
he's got that map of the world.
My wife just made me buy it from Amazon. I spent $170 on that thing, and I was so pissed because it does not look as cool as it looks in the pictures, right? Like it's just this.
Who's on the iPad?
Someone's on vacation. Who is iPad?
Oh no, that's German.
That Garmin?
Yeah, that's him. I can see his deck. I remember
Yeah,
that.
I remember the pictures.
All right, we know who you are. Come on, you can show yourself now.
You've been outed. Looks like the Wi-Fi is pretty good out there.
He's on private 5G. Just kidding.
Well, we gotta
I'm gonna
get.
hop on a work call, guys. It's nice seeing you all. Thank you.
See you later, Ollie.
Take
Yeah,
care.
Ali.
Can I ask you guys an antenna advice question?
Sure.
Because I've never had, so our campus is always full Omni. Always been Omni, one device, one switch out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And as a lot of you know, we've been planning to go full Cisco, but they're still on the pallets, still haven't made it anywhere. But when I was doing a count the other day for the service contract stuff for the boss, found a bunch of external 9130 and 9115 externals. There's 65 of them. It turns out in April of 2020, when we first talked about doing this, somebody quite high up ordered a test site bundle and asked for 10 9115s and 55 9130s, and they sent a quote for ease with all the mounting brackets, the licensing, the everything. Didn't mention antennas at all. So we have 65 of these from 3.5 years ago, so can't return them or anything. And it's either going to be we try to do some sort of an exchange or get antennas for them, which may be the first time I actually use antennas in an auditorium instead of having Omnis mounted to the wall. So does anybody have a recommendation they would have for the 9130Es?
9130E is a dart. So it's,
Yes.
you need the
it
breakout
the-
cable or you need it, yeah. So breakout cable or the 9101, 2 or 3. Those
That's
are
what, that
dart
was all I
smart
could
antennas,
find
yeah.
was the 9101, 2 or 3. And then Axel Tech seemed to have some that
Yes,
think
they
work,
have
yes.
some, yeah, you definitely need, and then if you don't want to use any of the smart antennas, you need a dart adapter, which goes
Yeah.
into 8 ports.
it's
You
just
could do-
super fun because I
Yeah,
found,
yeah.
I opened the box up and I looked, I was like, these totally would have gone out and been mounted because they look exactly like the eyes besides that lovely yellow tab on the side.
Mm,
I was like, we totally would have mounted these.
yeah. The
And
darts are
just-
expensive, by the way.
But that's why I
They're-
figure it's going to be a return situation based on price. But
Yeah. 9115s are just regular TP
yeah, it's
and
the
types. I
yeah.
haven't seen any 9115s in a long time, actually. but yeah.
We've had them sitting around for a long time. Like, yeah, they've all been here since June of 2020. So we've been hoarding them.
So in terms of antenna recommendation, it depends on height and what you're trying to cover, right? I would Ekahau it, Hamina it, whatever
That's what
floats
I've
your boat
been-
there.
I was doing them with the 9102 threes, but yeah, Axel Tech's part listing. I started doing it on the Hamina, and I was like, there's a lot of options it's giving me. And I figured I'd see people that have actually gotten to do
Yeah.
this before what they thought.
9103 is a pretty solid antenna though.
Yeah,
I'll say.
I had a customer, they were using that one with the 9130,
Okay.
the 03 one. And I think you can install it, like you could put the AP above the ceiling and you can just have the antenna, and the antenna looks like an AP kind of.
That's what I thought. I thought I was going crazy at first because when I saw
Yeah.
the picture, but then I saw a side view and I'm like, they were just sandwiched together in the on the mount.
I
in the
believe they
pictures.
have an LED as well on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
on that
You're right.
photo.
The 9103 has a special bracket if you want to stack them together. So it's kind of like the 9103 on the end and then the 9130 AP right there, and it can go all into one mount. So
Yeah,
if
it's
you
a
don't,
co-location.
yeah, so bracket 9 is that model number.
I think I have
Um,
one. I can show it to you. Let me go get it.
I have
Um,
pictures. I was just about to send them to you too. I don't have
See,
them.
this is why this
Costs
was so
more than the AP.
this came up at like I brought it up at their 10 a.m. Tuesday meeting. And then I was like, 2 o'clock, I can ask questions. Yay. Somebody there will have been stuck with this before.
Yeah, I had a client ask for antennas with the 9130s. And so I showed them the Cisco version because they like to go all Cisco. And it was the first time they were like, yeah, we're not going to buy that antenna.
Yeah.
Costs
They
too
look
much.
pricey. Yeah, they're pricey.
Just posted the photos I have, so you can share that. I guess it's not a big deal. It's nothing secret.
Appreciate it.
No problem. This is being recorded, so whatever. They're not cheap, the 9103. But if you work your account manager and compare it to the Celtex price, they will probably match it.
Okay.
So it could lower the price overall, if that helps. Yeah,
Did you say they would match it or try to match it?
they would try. It depends on your
That's a
account team.
beast. That's a
Yeah.
Yeah,
beast.
Hopefully match it.
huge.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's bigger than the AP for sure.
Francois.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, yeah, it's bigger than in the AP in size, but it's slimmer. So you can have it flush like this. Doesn't have to be on it. So you can have it flush against the ceiling. If you're in an auditorium, it will look like an AP from the floor. And you have
Okay.
the LED, so it kind of recalls what the AP is telling you.
Very cool.
You
And it
have to
has
plug it in right away. If you plug it in after it boots, the LED doesn't turn on.
That's a fun feature.
Yeah,
The feature, not a flaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've learned. We've been talking with Cisco for like 3 years now. So
They should probably talk to Meraki about making that antenna smart. They got the smart antennas.
if
I've
I was
seen
gonna
that.
buy
Okay.
something directional now, I would probably just go with the 9166D one. It's it's the antenna or it's the AP and you're done. You don't need to think about anything else anymore, but you need to be on
Is that
17.
orderable?
You know what? Let me message
Because I
my
think they just
friend.
announced that on Cisco Live, didn't they?
Yeah, let me find out because I did have this question and I forgot to ask my TSA.
Yeah, it's like it's a AP, but it's directional.
Yeah, I think that's appealing for vendors with 6 gigahertz. So we may see more and more of these, I think.
Wait, they're just APs with built-in directionals?
Yeah, because in the US, with the FCC, you guys don't have the touch or external antenna. You cannot do external antenna on 6 gigahertz.
It's the same in Europe.
It's the same in Europe.
But do
Okay.
we allow it in Canada, Francois?
It's allowed if it's not detachable. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So they have a way like Mist. I know Mist. They have like a specific way of connecting the AP with glue and screws, just to make sure you don't try to disconnect it. But it is allowed if it's not detachable. But in the US, that didn't fly because
They got
vendors
they had to take the part back or something. Yeah.
Yeah. The vendors try to use the gray area, and other vendors complain, and the FCC was like, okay, wait, let us revisit the rules, and I don't know what the outcome will be.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna finish that ruling for a while. It was supposed to be done already.
Yeah. Oh, you can the D1's now on CCW. Is
The
not available
91
to order. Never mind. What? That's weird. I've never seen that
Got
error.
the VOP account though.
So it lists, but I can't see the I can't add it to my cart. But the price is 2,800 USD. So whatever your discount is from that, it's probably
What's the SKUs? A 9166D?
D1. Yeah. August
don't need-
15th is the date.
Yeah, I don't see it on Ingram Micro.
Yeah, release sometime in September, like actual shipping, but you can order it August 15th. That's what I just got from my friend.
Okay. Yeah, because that one would be appealing for a couple of different use cases.
But
I'm
that's
just curious why is Cisco the only one that has it?
Well, I think Miss tried it and then someone complained, so I wonder what's happening. I don't know.
I'm sure it was Cisco who complained.
Probably. I don't.
Yeah, the antenna looks pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
I
I wonder
Oh,
if
yeah,
you could
look,
use it on the Meraki side, because Meraki has a 9166 also.
yeah,
CW.
it's there's a yeah, so D1 dash, X and like whatever regular like A, B, E, etc.
Oh yeah, they have an MR
and then
also.
they have MR
Okay.
skew. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Wonder if I can get a hold of one then.
Get a EFT on it or something.
Yeah. I mean, even though with the discount, it's still a lot.
Oh,
The NFR.
NFR, isn't it like 97% off or something?
Yeah, off of like
$3,000.
$3,000.
Point 45.
3,000 US dollars. Ooh.
Yeah.
8,000 US dollars.
3,000 US dollars.
Okay.
That's a lot to Canadian.
Yeah, it is. Where are you based, Cheryl?
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm like the only one way over here. Robert, what
Yeah.
about you? I didn't know you were also in the Canadian group.
I am Canadian, but I do not live in Canada.
Ah,
I live in New York.
That's not Canada.
Yeah, I know.
He's
I'm
one
from
of them.
Vancouver.
we stole Francois.
Yeah. I'm from Vancouver originally on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, yeah, you know that, but some people in the States don't know
I know.
that.
My
I'm
Canadian geography is not what it should be.
I'm Maine and go up. He's like
Yeah.
California and go up. Between California and Alaska.
I tell people Seattle and they're like, oh, okay.
Seattle.
Like,
People
how-
should know Vancouver.
I know it's not, I don't know.
That's where Ryan Reynolds is from. Like, come on.
Yes.
That's where
That's the
head
claim.
is from. That's what I tell people.
Yeah, Francois, you're in London, Ontario.
Yeah.
The other London.
The other London, yeah.
They're like,
By the Thames, in the
but
other
the
London.
US also has a Paris.
That's true.
We have like 2 Parises.
Oh yeah, the US has an Ontario CA, which is kind of
Yeah.
stupid. It's like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ontario, Canada, Ontario C. Like why? Why?
They must
Why
get
do you
tons of
confuse
mail.
yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's.
Yep, Paris, Texas.
Oh wow.
There's a Paris, Ontario too. It's a tiny
Yes.
town.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a friend from there. Yeah, yeah.
See, in
Where do
North
you guys have
Carolina,
to-
we went the opposite direction. We named things after South American countries.
Where
So
are
the
you based
town-
again?
The town just below Wilmington is called Bolivia.
Oh, Bolivia. Okay.
Ah.
I'm
You're in
going to
Wilmington?
Bolivia,
No?
guys.
What?
You're in Wilmington.
It-
You're in Wilmington, Delaware.
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
There's 7 Wilmingtons in this country. The only reason I
Is
know
there?
is because at the IHOP they have the 7 different time zones on 7 different clocks for each Wilmington, one for each Wilmington.
Oh my God.
We're down here, Wrightsville Beach, where Jim Cantori likes to come and report for hurricanes.
Hmm.
Nobody here gets worried about hurricanes until Jim Cantori shows up. Then everybody screams and runs.
I had no idea there was another one.
Do you guys
Cool.
know a company called
No,
Red
you're right,
River?
Anders.
What was that?
Do you
Is
guys
it
know
Francois?
of a company called Red River in the US?
Red River.
Red River?
It's
Isn't that like a
in
cereal?
Canada. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like apparently it's like a service company there. I'm kind of talking to them to do some work for them, but
The
I don't
name rings a
really-
bell, but I don't remember any specifics.
yeah, it looks like a service company. Maybe a managed service company. I don't know. I'll talk to them tomorrow and find out.
Not Red River, Texas.
Redriver.com. I don't know if it's
Oh. No,
okay.
I've never heard of them before.
Okay.
They're probably based in Texas, just based with the name.
No, they're based in Claremont, NH. What's NH?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire,
New
yeah.
Hampshire. Okay.
Okay.
Claremont.
That's more of Cheryl's way.
Yeah, it's almost over there. Huh?
The
They're
first
like,
time, when I
basic
went to
Canada.
WLPC, the first time, like in 2022, I guess it was, whatever. Oh, yeah. I met Matt and Mac, and Matt asked where I was from, and I said Nova Scotia, and he's like, "Sorry, my U.S. geography isn't all that great." I was like, first of all, I'm from Canada, and second of all, neither is mine." So, like,
I don't know. All I know about Canada, I learned from that movie Goon.
I've never seen it.
never seen it either.
oh, it's a good one.
Halifax Highlanders, man. You know,
Yeah,
Is that based on like Sean Avery or something, like the hockey movie?
it's a hockey movie.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, I
good
know what you're
movie.
talking about.
I
I haven't
haven't
seen it
The
though.
American Pie guy with no teeth and like fighting everybody on the
Oh.
ice. So it's
It's kind of like a
Ah.
tribute to Slapshot, the original beat everybody up hockey movie.
yeah.
The origins of the joke, I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out, you know, as opposed
Yeah.
to going to a hockey game and a fight. I didn't say it was a good joke. I'm just saying it was.
Yeah.
So Francois, you're still doing a lot of coding?
Yeah, well, now I have a dev to do that for me, but I still do.
Mm.
Yeah,
For fun.
yeah, it's okay. I'm trying to do I'm actually working for a customer. They're deploying Mists, you know, for a lot of different remote sites. So I'm building an app so they can just because Mist, you know, Mist, they like to kind of showcase you can deploy 500 sites in a second or 10 seconds. But in reality, the company will never deploy all 500 sites all at once. Usually they have like a process, and for each site they kind of have to follow.
So you want to prove them wrong?
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm building is kind of like a little interface or tool so they can do like one site at a time, but they can, you know, it does the whole process. So when they're ready to deploy, like the day before, whatnot, the day before they're installing the equipment, they can run the tool. And then, you know, everything is kind of pre-provisioned in Mist, and they can just connect the equipment when they go on site. Yeah, so I'm kind of working on that right now.
Yeah, it's
And
kind
then-
of like similar to what we're doing too. Like on campus, we're not going to just provision 500 sites, but
Yeah,
we're trying to streamline it where if somebody takes a box of APs and we have those Macs,
Mhm.
there's a automated process where you can scan the box and then it'll put all of those Macs into a script, create the site, you name the site and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just plug the AP in, they join, download automatically and done.
Yep.
yeah. So I have
Yeah.
another customer where they asked me to help them with this, and the solution we came up with was they use Ekahau as well, right? So the idea was to start from the Ekahau design for their sites, and it's a retail company as well. So they like the Wi-Fi engineer is doing everything in Ekahau, preparing the site, and it's in Ekahau is also providing, you know, details about the site group and device profile and stuff like this. And then we'll have a tool that will extract everything from the Ekahau file, display it on a web page. They will be able to validate or change, you know, the site details, and then it will hand it over to the installers, and installers will, you know, see all of the APs with the AP names, and they'll be able to scan, you know, the barcode of the AP to kind of correlate the AP name with the actual MAC address. And then once everything is done, they click submit, and then it just deploys everything on Mist with the proper AP name, MAC address, and all of this.
Cool.
So that's the solution we found.
Remember-
Yeah.
Do you ever run into a scenario where they don't want the installer doing anything digital because the
Yeah.
installer doesn't do any of that?
Yes. In this case, yeah, it happens, but in this case, they're such a big customer that they're just pushing it on the the
On them?
installers. Telling,
Because
yeah,
that's
they're
what I was
telling them
thinking
you
about
have to do
doing
it.
for ours. It's just that our installers are not, they don't, for one, a lot of the installers don't even know how to click things properly.
Mhm.
And then for two, in locations where there's no internet, like not even cellular, they can't change anything. So there's no access.
With the tool we're building, you'll actually be able to do all of that, importing of MAC addresses before you go on site. Right? So let's say you have all of the APs in front of you, you're going to install these 25 APs, then you scan them at, let's say at the office the day before, and then you input them into the system, and then you can just push everything to Mist. And when you go on site, it's kind of like provisioning, but it's
Because
kind of
what we were doing is they take the box and they tell us where each MAC address is on the floor plan.
that's
I'm
manual.
gonna ask how you correlate location with that.
So
That's
we
why
get the
we-
location from
Yeah,
so
from the
in-
installer.
Yeah. In our case, we get the location from Ekahau. In Ekahau, you get the address and then you get the floor plans, and everything gets imported into Mist. The floor plan, the address, AP locations.
How do you tie that to the MAC address or the serial number of the actual AP?
So that's the installer. When the installer inputs, the installer will show them all of the APs from the design. So they'll see AP1, AP2, AP3, and on the right they'll have like an input box, so they can scan the MAC address. And so it's on the installer to give us that information, and then we'll have both set of information, and then we can just tell the cloud.
Gotcha.
That's what we're debating, is whether to give, because that would be the point of error for us. Is the
Same
installer.
here. So my team, we just unbox them all and label them like ahead of time, and then we hand that box with them. We take, do you guys use, I mean, the camera's doing things, like we take the thing, we peel it off and put it on a piece of paper and just write it down as like our hard coded thing.
For Cisco, we would do that.
Yeah, I haven't done, we're starting to look at Mist. I don't know what they have on the back of, like, in terms of that.
It's just a QR code.
Okay.
So they don't give you a piece of paper like that. We were using that as well, where the installer has the map. They take the AP.
Number one to thing, it's like a big
printed app.
Right.
Yeah, they'll take that sticker, put that where the AP is on that design.
Your installer would do it.
Yeah. Because they have the AP, they take the sticker, they put that on the paper, and then they give us the paper.
Oh yeah, we would take all the APs, pre-label them, and then literally hand them to the installer, and all they have to do is put them up, because I don't trust them.
Yeah, that's how we are.
We don't trust them to even do this part properly.
I'm the installer too.
Oh, okay. Well, I trust you.
Do you guys have, when you're doing your designs and check clause stuff, do you guys ever run into Bix fields?
Bix fields?
Yeah, like the old punch down.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So if you ever run into them and you're trying to go to multi-gig, there's this lovely new product and it snaps into the Bix blocks.
Oh.
And this is what we've been doing. The building Francois saw, or I called him and bugged him forever ago, but the person that did the wonky design that I took over and redid, and after I got the confirmation that it was wonky, and that was the only thing that was holding us up, was couldn't do multi-gig. We had Cat 6E go into the closets, and then it was Bix block. So yeah, this was the now, and then we just patched to the switch from
right with the proper Cat 6 thing.
On my speakers, it sounds like you're saying you're calling them bitch blocks.
I know.
So, on that note, I gotta jump to another meeting. So you guys have a great day. Roel, thanks for inviting me, man.
Yeah,
thanks, Scott.
Good.
Yeah, we got 2 more minutes left. So
I'm going like crazy basic, like for scanning the stuff after. Do you guys have specific barcode? Did you type it? You're using barcode readers? I'm just curious what you guys are doing.
So for us, we use a USB scanner.
Yeah.
And so we're able to just put all those in a
and
CSV.
you go down. Now, are you just getting QR or just the MAC and serial?
Barcode on the box.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we were doing some of that in the UK. I've gone down a rabbit hole of laser versus CCD scanners and barcodes, and it's like lasers are very accurate. You can get exactly the barcode you want, but the CCD scanners, you can do 2D like QR codes and like the FedEx labels and UPS labels, but they're not as accurate. So you got to like put your finger over them. So we're like debating, do we buy more laser ones and not worry about the QR? Because there are QR codes on some of the APs nowadays. Like, would that make, I don't know. So I've gone down this rabbit hole and trying to.
Yeah, I've looked at how to make it compatible with a web app, and the easiest solution for web apps would be using a camera. You know, like on a
Like
app,
your phone, your iPhone, and it pops up like that.
or like
Yeah.
a webcam that you connect. You know, you could have like a setup with like a overlooking webcam or
Right.
whatever, and then you have the barcode in under it. That's kind of like the easiest
Oh.
integration with web app, but I don't think it's. I think the laser stuff works better though. It's a
Yeah, it's way more accurate. It's faster, but yeah, yeah. The problem with I guess I have is like we scan the Mac and the serial, so you know you can change the barcode scanner to do a tab or a a carriage return, right? But
Mhm.
after you scan, like you still like we usually just put our stuff in Excel, so we do the serial number Mac, and then we want to
Mhm.
go down to the next line. So if we just do tab, then you need a second barcode. Maybe I imprint it into my hand and I just scan my hand, and then you know what I mean to go down
Yeah.
to the next page, the next line. I don't know, just silly things, right?
Okay, I have to go, guys, because I have another meeting, but maybe we can circle back when I have more experience about that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm developing a process too, so we can talk about that. Because we
Yeah,
have one for the Cisco side and one for the Mist side. And I'm curious how other people are doing it and how to streamline it. I know with Mist is a lot more, we can streamline it a lot more, but we have the variables of actual humans being involved. And that's
right.
where a lot of
Humans
the
the
errors
problem.
come up.
See you, Francois. I was just gonna say last thing. I'll be in LA if anyone's out there in end of July, early August. But I think you're in San Diego, right? Well,
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we can sync up. We'll see.
yeah,
Depends when you'll be there.
30th to August 4th, but it's might be chaotic. So, but anyways, I'm sure I'll be
Just
out
let
there.
me know.
All right.
I'll be here in San Diego, so just let me know.
All right. Nice to see you guys. See you, Anders.
Yeah, nice to see you guys.
See
Have a
you,
good
Cheryl.
one.
See you, German.
Joining. Bye.
Bye.